This is Geek News Central. My name is Todd Cochran, coming to you from the New Media Production Studio. The lead stories are hacking a decommissioned TV satellite. No April's Fool joke, but wait to see the Mad Max headphones from Dyson. Artemis is go for full-scale shakedown. And the Gopro Volta is the best accessory from GoPro in many, many years. I want to welcome you to episode 1595 of the Geek News Central podcast for Thursday, March 31st. This show is sponsored in part by GoDaddy.com and listeners just like you. Great deals from GoDaddy can be found at geeknewscentral.com/GoDaddy. Support for this show can be had and done at geeknewscentral.com/insider. Become a Geek News Central insider today. Support the show. It's fantastic when you do so. We'll talk about that more later. Hey, I want to give a warm welcome to all the brand new listeners of the show. Thanks for being here. Thanks for checking out for the very first time. Make sure you get over to geeknewscentral.com when you're on the website. Subscribe or follow the podcast. Of course, sign up for the newsletter. The newsletter contains everything I'm going to talk about in the show tonight. So make sure you get signed up for that so you don't miss a single episode. Of course, you can always join our chat room at geeknews.chat. That's a Mastodon chat server, or our Discord channel. The link to that is in the show notes. You can contact me easily via email, geeknews@gmail.com, or on Twitter @geeknews. Of course, you can follow me on Facebook as well. All the partner shows are linked at geeknewscentral.com, whether it be the New Media Show, whether it be the Gadget Professor, whether it be the GNC Week in Review with Scott and Kirk. Those are three great shows to check out. I want to, of course, encourage you to go over there and check those partner shows out as well. This show is sponsored by the longest running continuous sponsor of a podcast. That's our good friends at GoDaddy.com, where you can save lots of money. And of course, I've already updated the website, but the April, because most of you are going to hear this in April, the deals have rolled over. The GoDaddy promo codes are good. We still have $1.99 economy month hosting, $1.99 a month economy hosting for the first year with a free domain name, or $2.99 a month managed WordPress hosting for the first year with a free domain name. You can get 30% off of new product purchases. You can get a $4.99.com for those of you that are brand new customers, or you transfer one in as a new customer. And you can get a free trial of GoDaddy Website Builder, your choice of personal, business, or business plus plans. Been having a lot of fun with GoDaddy domain names lately. We were thinking of a little thing to do, and we're in a business meeting. And I was actively searching for domain names, and I couldn't believe it. I came up with one. It's fun to sometimes just kind of brainstorm and find a business idea that might work. That's just, you can find the domain name for it. So really, picking up a domain name is key to any type of enterprise you may be looking to do. Whether you think about starting a business, online store, you name it. And of course, the GoDaddy Website Builder, you get a free trial of that. Your choice of personal, business, and business plus plans. That's a 1-month free trial. Does not come with a free domain, but don't worry. Pick up a domain name today over at GoDaddy. Use my promo codes to save money when you can. Lock in the savings either by clicking the link at geeknewscentral.com/GoDaddy and or copying the promo code and using it at checkout. I want to thank GoDaddy for being a longtime sponsor here of the podcast, and thank you for your ongoing support. And definitely appreciate it. We are shifting a little bit. I've already got the March numbers. You guys did a great job supporting this show in March, and I want to thank you all for that. And as we move into April, please still consider supporting them, because it allows the lights to stay on, rent to be paid, electric to be paid, gas to be paid, insurance to be paid. And by that time that's all over, I usually have no money left. But no, definitely support the show by supporting the sponsor, utilizing my promo code. So I want to thank GoDaddy again for being a longtime sponsor here of the Geek News Central podcast. Okay, this week has just flown by. It's been I've been averaging about 4.3 hours a day in meetings. There's a thing now in Google Calendar tells you how many hours a day you're doing in meetings. It's been insane, but it's been new business, B2B, some B2C, talking with podcasters, having meetings for my team. We got lots of stuff coming. We've gotten through the rollout of what we term the new Blueberry, and Blueberry without the E's, for those of you that aren't familiar with my podcasting company. And now we're focused on integrations, new features. So we got like 3 things coming in the next 2 weeks. It's just one thing after the other. And that's, and then we're going to have, every 2, 3 to 4 weeks, we're going to have something new to announce. It's very, very exciting. We got lots of stuff on the agenda to accomplish this year. And I feel very, very confident in where we're at. But so this week has just flown by. I am taking tomorrow off. I got a whole bunch of stuff I need to do at the house. I got to finish up my taxes. It's just been, it's a catch-up day, really, being I was off traveling and just been busy. So I'm going to take the day off tomorrow and try to get caught up on everything that I need to get caught up on. But last night, we had a big windstorm here, and there was something banging, boom, boom, boom. I kept hearing it all night long. It literally kept me up half the evening, and so I'm running on little sleep today. It's been tough, but here I am. Got the show ready to go. It looks like a camera might need to be white balanced. It looks like we're a little dark today. It looks dark here in the studio, at least on my camera view. Maybe it doesn't look like that for you, but it does for me. All right, so let's get into the stack. Got a good stack of content tonight. First things up is an interesting article about how researchers used a decommissioned satellite to broadcast hacker TV. And they were using old satellite that's no longer in use, but still can broadcast. Now, the satellite has not been transferred to its parking orbit. They take some of these that are in geosynchronous that can no longer be, deorbited, and they put them someplace to basically store them until, I guess, the end of time. But hackers have been through authorization, so it really wasn't a hack. They were given permission to do this. They were able to play around and do some uplinking to it and get some downlinks, and it's not that complicated. Some of these older satellites, they just look for a frequency in and they retransmit a frequency out. Sometimes it takes a key per se, but it said independent researchers in the U.S. military become increasingly focused on orbiting satellites and the potential security vulnerabilities. In recent years, the devices, which are built primarily with durability, reliability, and longevity in mind, were largely never intended to be ultra secure. But the SHU-CON Security Conference in D.C. on Friday, embedded device security researcher Carl Kosher raised questions about a different phase of satellite's life cycle. What happens when an old satellite is decommissioned and transitioned to a graveyard orbit? So they received permission last year to access and broadcast from a Canadian satellite known as Anik F1R that was launched to support Canadian broadcasters in 2005 and designed for 15 years of use. And that satellite's coverage extends below the U.S. southern border and out to Hawaii and the easternmost part of Russia. The satellite will move to its graveyard orbit soon, and nearly all other services that use it have already migrated to a new satellite. But while researchers could still talk to the satellite using special access to an uplink license and transponder slot lease, they had the opportunity to take over and broadcast to the Northern Hemisphere. And they said that my favorite thing was actually seeing it work. It's kind of unreal to go from making a video stream to having it broadcast across all of North America. And it makes you go, just a little bit, doesn't it? Now, I don't know what happens in the parking orbit, if it's turned away, if it's no longer pointed at Earth or how that works. But currently, it wasn't in its parking orbit. It was still sitting where it had been in its, normal life stage. So I don't know what happens to these satellites. I don't know if they turn them off or they just go into a standby mode or what it is. But it is an interesting concept and interesting use cases for sure. When I saw this first, I thought Dyson was creating something that was a joke. Dyson has announced an apocalyptic filter headphone combo. So what they've done is they've got a headphone and a mask, and it's the bizarrest thing here. It kind of looks like a little bit of a Star Wars type of thing, but it's an upcoming Dyson Zone mask and headphone system. It's working on this, and it's one of the most intense consumer-facing masks we've ever seen. What's more, the company elected to combine this face-mounted air purifier with its first noise-canceling headphones, which, quote-unquote, contribute to the filtering process. At least one outlet says it tested this perfect addition to Mega Man cosplay project, and it is an actual product and not an April Fool's joke. It just kind of looks like an April Fool's joke. And, of course, tomorrow is April Fool's Day. So we'll see what companies have planned. But there would be no way you'd get me to wear this. But I'm sure after traveling so much and seeing people that are fully dressed in wearing full bodysuits, medical bodysuits with masks and everything, I guess I won't be surprised if I see people wearing this Dyson headset and air purifier. The NASA's Artemis 1 moon rocket is go for a crucial launch day rehearsal test. This test will run from Friday through Saturday, so it starts tomorrow to April 3rd, and they're going to do a full rundown. They're going to fuel it. They're going to do everything right up to the last 3 seconds, and then they're not going to launch it. But it's a full dress rehearsal, and it's a gear up round of test, and it's called a wet dress rehearsal. And it will take the SLS and orient through many of their launch day procedures. And so I'm sure we're going to have lots more to talk about this on Monday. If all goes according to plan, the official test will begin at 5 p.m. on Friday and wrap up 48 hours later around 5 p.m. on Sunday. NASA officials said during a call with reporters, the simulated countdown will occur on Sunday afternoon. And NASA has yet to set a launch date for Artemis 1 and won't do so until teams have a chance to analyze data gathered during the wet dress rehearsal. If all goes well, maybe we'll get a launch sometime later this year. So we'll see what happens. But Artemis 2 will actually launch astronauts around the moon in 2024 if the current timeline holds. And again, these are $1 billion, something like that per launch. So your taxpayers at work, I guess it's good to do I wonder what the wet dress rehearsal cost. It's got to be high because they do everything but light the candle, right? So we'll keep an eye on that and see if there's anything on NASA TV this weekend. It takes a lot now to get me excited about gadgets. It really, really does. And one thing that drives me crazy about my GoPro, it just seems to burn. And I've got a 7, I think. I don't know what they're up to now, 8 or 9. But it seems like they just burn batteries. And I've done all kinds of things with GoPros to extend batteries, with having battery packs and all kinds of stuff. But now, GoPro's finally introduced what they're calling the Gopro Volta. It's a handle, it's a remote tripod, and an external battery all in one. There's a lot of functionality here for $130, and I'm thinking this, ladies and gentlemen, is probably the most impressive GoPro accessory I've seen in years. And why it's taken all this time, I don't know. Has a 4,900 milliamp battery that the company says can triple your camera's battery life, providing 4 hours of record time when paired with a completely charged internal battery if you're shooting at 5.3K footage. And I never do. I shoot at 1080. It uses an integrated USB cable to plug into and charge your GoPro with the press of a button, and has an additional USB-C port for charging up its internal battery. GoPro says the integrated battery can be charged in as little as 2.5 hours, and there's a quick charge mode that takes it from 0 to 60% in an hour. It also has a built-in remote that lets you start recording or cycle through the camera's shooting modes, both when GoPro's plugged into the Volta as well as wirelessly over Bluetooth. So this, to me, is a fantastic product. And if you shoot with the GoPro a lot, this is going to be one of your things you're going to go to. They call it weather resistant, and it's safe for splashes, but not for swimming. GoPro also warns that your camera won't be waterproof when it has USB pass-through door open, of course. And the Volta has a mount on top to attach your GoPro to. So, looks pretty slick. Yes, it does. And I think this is a winner. Winner, chicken dinner by the GoPro team. Why it took so long to bring this to market, I really don't know. But it seemed to me like an absolutely natural product for them to bring to market. So, again, hard to get me excited about gadgets, but this one did. On the more political front, senators urged the FTC to review Microsoft's $68.7 billion deal for Activision Blizzard, report says. The four senators are reportedly concerned the deal could undermine calls for accountability at the video game giant. So, in a letter to FTC Chairman Lena Khan, the senators raised questions about the planned acquisition. Over alleged misconduct at Activision Blizzard, we're deeply concerned about the consolidation of the tech industry and its impact on workers, read the letter according to the Journal. The letter was reportedly sent by Senator Elizabeth Warren, Bernie Sanders, Independent Cory Booker, and Sheldon Whitehouse. So, of course, in January, Microsoft announced plans to take over the scandal-plagued Activision Blizzard. The deal would make Microsoft the world's third largest video game maker, and giving access to Call of Duty, World of Warcraft. So, and of course, Microsoft pledged to clean up Activision. I think they will. So I don't know what this call is by the senators, but we'll see. Hey, Schlage's latest smart lock makes unlocking your door as easy as using Apple Pay. The Encode Plus supports Apple's new home key feature. You just put your phone up to the door, it unlocks your door. So, smart locks have allowed us to ditch keys for a long time. We'd be able to use a press button combination and so forth, been able to unlock via Bluetooth in different ways. But all you have to do is pull your phone out and unlock it. Find the right app, tap the unlock button, and wait for the lock to respond. It's at $299. Doesn't come cheap to unlock the door with your smartphone. I think I'll just stick with a key lock for now. Seems like it's much simpler, much cheaper. I think last time I looked, a key lock at Home Depot was about $30, and probably not much more secure than a Schlage lock. So anyway, very, very interesting. You can unlock with your phone. Not surprising here. YouTube TV finally adds picture-in-picture support on iOS. YouTube support expected in the coming months as well. So YouTube TV is catching up to other streaming apps, including Netflix, Hulu, HBO Max, Prime Video, and others by adding picture-in-picture on iOS devices running iOS 15 or higher. First introduced to iPad users in iOS 13 to iPhones with iOS 14 in 2020. YouTube has been slow to adopt this now standard functionality. It allows users to stream videos in a small floating mini player on their home screen while multitasking on their device. So there you go. Facebook newsfeed had a bug that injected misinformation to users' feed for months. Not surprising there at all. Look at this. Between last October and March, a bug in Facebook's newsfeed ranking algorithm injected a surge of misinformation and other harmful content into users' news feeds between last October and March, according to internal memo. The unspecified bug, described by employees as a massive ranking failure, went unfixed for months and affected as much as half of all news feed views. So, the news feed is supposed to downrank debunked misinformation, but it was actually rising it up by at least 30%. And they realized this is very wrong early on, but they didn't fix it. And you just never know what you're going to get fed by Facebook. It has a mind of its own. It definitely does. Windows 11 growth is at a standstill amid stringent hardware requirements. Yeah, I've got a perfectly good Windows 10 machine here that can't be upgraded. So Windows 10 still rules the roost among Microsoft fans. And after a healthy start to the year, Windows 11 only managed to grow its share of the system surveyed to 19.3 to 19.4%. Its Windows 10 equivalent, 21H2, continued to comfortably ramp ahead, increasing from 21% at the end of February to 28.5% in March. In fact, well over half the survey were still running 2021's Windows 10. And the survey was limited to 5,000 PCs. But I have yet to see a Windows 11 machine in the wild. Google Search has a new highly cited label, helps you get to the source of a story. And new notices will help you check the validity of information. I use TechMeme and others to look for good articles for this show. And along with Kirk, we've got a great list of vetted news sources. But Google's adding a new highly cited label to search results frequently sourced by other publications. Anything from local news stories to interviews, announcements, and even press releases will be eligible for the new label being attached to the search results preview image, so long as other websites are linking to it. More info is also being added to search rapidly evolving topics and about this result notice. So just another way to drive traffic to those sites that are getting the most links. The U.S. Space Force will use a digital twin, yes, a digital twin, to simulate satellite incidents. So they're trying to determine what happens when a satellite gets blown up and how it's going to affect other satellites. So they have a simulator. And it's called Digital Twin. Slingshot Aerospace Laboratory was the one that created this. And that will combine physics-based modeling with real-time object mapping to help the Space Force simulate various situations and space response well in advance. So I think this is probably something that's well needed. Very, very disappointed in Wise. Wise was aware of a major camera security flaw for 3 years. The vulnerability let intruders access your stored videos. And apparently they've known about this since March of 2019 and did not and could not fix it. They couldn't watch live video, but they could look at your recorded video. So while it did mitigate the problem with patches, it's now clear the company discontinued the camera in January as hardware limitations provided a proper update. So Wise was slow to respond and didn't fully share the nature of security hole. Bitdefender noted that Wise only acknowledged reception of the warning in November 2020, a year and a half after it was delivered. And while it did tell customers that it discontinued the Wise Cam V1 due to incompatibility with security update, it didn't tell users this was a known 3-year-old flaw. What did I talk about in this show? About the V1 camera. I said there was a suspicion, something was very suspicious there, and we should probably retire those. There you go. If you have a V1 Wise, they're $30. Throw it in the trash, buy a replacement. But Wise, I think, in my opinion, has some explaining to do. And there's also questions surrounding Bitdefender's very late disclosure. The company's PR director told The Verge that it delays publishing reports when it's not clear a vendor can properly address an issue. It didn't want to expose potentially millions of Wisecam users by sharing details that exploit to the public. However, security researchers typically disclose flaws within weeks, not years. Even Google's more cautious Project Zero shares technical details within 90 days. So they really gave Wise a pass here. From CoinDesk, those of you that buy crypto, in the EU, it's going to get ugly. The EU Parliament passes privacy-busting crypto rules despite industry criticism. Lawmakers are set to end even the smallest anonymous crypto transactions and plan measures that could see unregulated exchanges cut off. So more than 90 lawmakers voted in favor of a proposal, according to documents seen by CoinDesk. The proposals are intended to extend anti-money laundering requirements that apply to conventional payments over 1,000 euros or 1,114 US to the crypto sector. They also scrapped the floor for crypto payments, so payers and recipients of even the smallest crypto transactions would need to be identified, including for transactions with unhosted or self-hosted wallets. Further measures under discussion could see unregulated crypto exchanges cut off from the conventional financial system. If you're using a Podcast 2.0 app to listen to this show, you can boost this show with crypto as well. You can send us Satoshis. We appreciate it when you do. Google Meet video chats will be available directly in Dock. That's interesting. So Google Meet video chats should now be more useful if you need to get work done or just don't want them monopolizing your screen. Google is rolling out multiple workspace updates, include offering Meet video chats directly in Dock, Sheets, and Slides. You can start a virtual meeting and carry it over to the document you're working on to help you collaborate without flipping between tabs. You can also present that content if it's ready to go. This should be available in the coming weeks. This is stuff we work on Docs all the time in Zoom. That's something that's been pretty standard for a long, long time. Disney's Obi-Wan Kenobi premiere will include 2 episodes to make up for the delayed debut. The show will premiere on May 27th, 2 days later than originally scheduled. Our premiere date is moving just a couple of days. His hands are raised as to say, don't be mad. Instead, Disney's pushing the show launch back, I guess 2 days is not a big deal, right? It'd be a shame, though, because the 25th would have been exactly 45 years since the original Star Wars opened. But as McGregor body's language suggests, don't be mad. As penance for the grave inconvenience, Disney will now releasing the first 2 episodes that day instead of 1. So something to look forward to. Samsung is working on Galaxy self-repair program with iFixit, coming this summer for the Galaxy S20, S21, and Tab S7 Plus. So iFixit says we are working with Samsung to improve their repair guide and do-it-yourself parts of offerings. iFixit CEO Kyle Wines told The Verge the new program follows Apple's recent change of heart, announcing a self-service program for Microsoft. Microsoft worked with iFixit to manufacture service tools. It's clear that manufacturers are recognizing the need to embrace repair. So, tools for you to replace your own parts and have instructions on how to do so. So, we'll see where this leads. If you're a Microsoft user and you've been using your phone, it's being renamed. Microsoft rebrands its Android Your Phone companion app to PhoneLink. PhoneLink now has a matching Windows 11 design. So I've never heard of this product, never seen it, never used it. But if you've been using Your Phone app, it's going to be renamed to PhoneLink, and it's updating its Windows 11 version. Also, those of you Mac users, keep an eye out. Apple has introduced an emergency fix for a 0-day that's being used to hack iPhones and Macs. So the list of impacted devices include Macs running Mac OS Monterey, iPhone 6 and later, iPad Pro all models, iPad 2 Air and later, iPad 5th generation later, and iPad Mini 4 and later, and iPod Touch 7th generation. Apple disclosed active exploitation in the wild, however, did not release any addition regarding those attacks. So these are 5 0-day patched by Apple this year alone. Shows you that they are not immune to having their devices hacked, and so be aware that patch is available and update your devices accordingly. E3 2022 is canceled, but it might be back next year. The gaming industry's biggest convention was meant to take place online only this year. I don't know why they didn't move forward with it, but E3 22 is fully canceled. Both the physical and planned digital version of the gaming convention have been scrapped. The Entertainment Software Association, which organized the show, has officially confirmed that Engadget at the E322 is canceled and will move to 2023. The association said it will devote all of our energy and resources delivering a revitalized physical and digital E3 experience next summer. The organization said it wants to ensure that the revitalized showcase sets a new standard for hybrid industry events and fan engagement. We want to be there. Hybrid stuff, screw that. Just like LA, want to be there. Don't want to be hybrid. I don't want to go to a virtual event. Have a virtual event? I'm not attending. No, thank you. Amazon Union rerun election in Alabama will be determined by challenge ballots. The vote was too close for anyone to declare an outright victory. Workers have voted against unionization by a close contested 993 to 875 vote, with 59 voided votes out of 6,153 eligible to cast the ballot. And turnout appears to have been considerably lower. So with that, 993 to 875, 416 votes have been challenged, more than enough to change the outcome, so the definitive results might not be available for some time. And while it's not currently known how many of the challenges came from either party, in a post-tally press release, Retail, Wholesale, and Department Store Union President Stuart Applebaum said each side challenged over 100 ballots. So we'll see what happens there. The drama continues. Yelp is expanding its restaurant health grading initiative. That's interesting. So Yelp today announced it would further expand its health grade information on restaurants. While the review platforms develop its own digital standard for restaurant hygiene, alongside the technology departments of the cities of San Francisco and New York in 2013, it's now broadening its partnership with Hazel Analytics. Yelp and Hazel teamed up last year, and together the Lives metric now incorporates data from health departments across 48 U.S. states, as well as Toronto and Vancouver. So you can see the health score on your city's Yelp restaurant pages already. But, of course, the restaurant industry have criticized this. They don't want this information to be made public. So Yelp does not estimate the health scores for a restaurant. It displays third-party data results, again, from firms like Hazel Analytics. So very, very interesting. To show you how much we really don't know, an anonymous Twitter account built 60,000 followers translating Chinese propaganda about the Ukraine war and is setting off an international firestorm. The Great Translation Movement Twitter account translates Chinese language posts into English. The translates are fascinating for Westerners, but experts say social media doesn't necessarily represent what the Chinese think. Ha ha ha. But basically, it's basically translating Chinese social media posts into English, Japanese, Korean, French, and Arabic. And here's an example. Here's a poll on Bilibili, Chinese equivalent to YouTube, asking, who is to blame for the Russia-Ukraine conflict? 2,433 users voted, and the winner is, what do you really have to guess? The U.S., of course. Who started the war? So there was 472 votes, I agree with Russia. 1,719 votes, America. 244 votes, Ukraine. So it just, you get an idea what people are thinking outside of the United States and, the type of posts are being made and how people are being influenced. Apple has reported that they're going to no longer fix iPhones flagged as stolen or missing. Apple technicians will check IMEI before accepting them for repair. This should have been done a long time ago. Now, users could just as easily go to a third-party repair shop that doesn't care where they got their device from and get it repaired there. So I don't know if it's going to slow things down at all. And finally tonight, FedEx will test autonomous cargo flights next year. The Chaparral C1 drone will carry up to 500 pounds of packages between depots at a time. Interesting. So this will be a VTOL aircraft, aka cargo drone, that will go between FedEx depots. Interesting. It has a range up to 300 miles. It noted that the Chaparral C1 doesn't need a specific infrastructure like an airport or dedicated charging station. It added adopting the aircraft lines up with global goal of making operations carbon neutral by 2040. So we'll see. They have to get certifications and all that kind of stuff, but we'll see where the test goes down. All right, so kind of a short show tonight. Lots of great content. Got it through in a hurry. I survived without making a fool of myself after not having hardly any sleep last night. But I want to stay on track to the March to 1600. Definitely appreciate everyone's ongoing support of the show. I want to thank all the insiders out there for your continued donations to the podcast at $2, $5, $10, $15, $20, and $25 and one-time donations. All those are available at geeknewscentral.com/insider, where you can make a donation to the podcast. Of course, your ongoing support of GoDaddy is greatly appreciated. I just can't stress enough how important it is for you guys to share my promo codes and tell, when you hear someone talking about needing a domain name or web product, say, hey, I know a guy that's got some great codes to save you some money. Again, the best deals in podcast hosting at geeknewscentral.com. Best deals in web hosting, geeknewscentral.com/GoDaddy. And of course, if you're thinking about starting a podcast, that link is on the website as well, where you can get a 60-day free trial of Blueberry podcasting services and start your own podcast and join the evolution here. It's been my pleasure to bring you a podcast tonight. I want to thank you all for your ongoing support of this show. And I'll be back with you on Monday for another edition of the podcast. I'm here through, looks like the end of April before I head out to Vegas for the National Association of Broadcasters trade show. We start planning for that next week, but lots of announcements from my company over the next couple of weeks. Things are going smooth. We really are excited about what the future holds for Blueberry podcasting and, of course, what the future holds for this show here at Geek News Central. Don't forget, contest is still running for the 16:9 images behind me. If you've got something you want to submit, please do so, and we'll display the winner on episode 1600. So, we can get out of here. Thank you all for being part of the show and staying subscribed. We'll see you next time. Everyone take care. Bye-bye.